And off to you, Owen.
All right, so welcome to the giant crowd here to the reporter meetup number 2. Basically, I'm just going to be going over some updates with Flashbots, and then Tally or whoever else can add anything else that they need. So I'll go next slide. Oh, there it is. So basically right now, you can submit transactions through Flashbots. It's just going to require a little bit more setup than the regular reporter. You can use the branch that is currently in development. There's no official release right now, mainly because it's been mostly me testing it, and I would like other people to test it before we do an official release. So right now, if you do use Flashbots, there are some pros to this and there are some cons as well. So the good thing is that if you submit a transaction and it fails, you don't lose transaction fees. Basically, the Flashbots relay, what you're submitting your bundle of transactions to, will just reject it, and you'll get notified in the console. That's the good. Also, people were, they would submit, their transaction would be accepted, and then someone else would essentially front run them and get the reward, and they would have to pay the transaction fees as well. That doesn't happen either. When you do use Flashbots, don't expect this to be like a cure-all. This is not, you use Flashbots and all of a sudden you're, making stacks. The reason for that, I think, could be other reasons, is that, a bunch of people have been using Flashbots already. And the way it works is you need to create another account that's used as your signature with the Flashbots relay, and you build reputation with that signature. So the people who have already been submitting, they've been building up reputation. So if you submit, at a certain gas price, they might submit lower, and there's, if you submit a certain tip and they submit one that's lower, they still might get mined before you. It's rough, but you can sort of also look forward to, like in the beginning, there wasn't as many people submitting with Flashbots, and I think a similar thing might happen to when we go to Tellor Flex. Some of the bigger players and whatnot, it might take them a little bit of time to get everything in order before they're beating everyone. So there might be the opportunity to make a bit of cash when we go to Polygon and things like that. That's sort of this analogy that Spuddy has used in the past, that some of the bigger players are like these big ships where it's harder to stop them once they get going, but they are slow to turn. So smaller players are like faster to maneuver and whatnot. So that's basically it for Flashbots. If y'all are interested, I can put out a video of exactly how to set this up, but the release is coming soon once we get more people to test it. So yeah, that's about it from me.
Yeah, I mean, if I can ask, how do you get reputation and how fast does it sort of scale up? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so that's the annoying part. So to get reputation, if you are just trying to submit a value regularly at a profit, you're probably not going to get mined initially, because someone with a higher reputation is going to submit before you. So then you can't build a reputation. So I have literally had to submit at a loss to build reputation, and still it's not perfect. Like, every time I submit, it's not like those bundles are mined. So that's like the way that you build reputation, is you submit transactions to them. And you can't, like, if you submit, just like a simple transfer transaction to like another one of your accounts and whatnot, they will just send that to the regular mempool. They won't even mind that.
Yeah. But you said, I mean, in the future, we were talking about this earlier, there could be potentials for you could use somebody else's relay, you were saying?
Yeah, that's possible. I just don't know if that's even beneficial for us to do, like releasing
Right.
open source software. Yeah, so potentially for anyone listening, you could check out, and maybe you could start beating a bunch of people if you check out Mining DAO. They have a relay that you could submit to. I don't know exactly how it works. I haven't investigated it. And then also there's another, I believe it's Mint X, is another relay. And the way theirs is different. So Mining DAO, they literally have a bunch of miners. So it's like their own sort of flash bots, essentially. But the Mint X one, if that's the name, they essentially submit to the Flashbots relay. So it's them who've already built up a gnarly amount of reputation. And so that's why theirs theoretically works. I haven't tested it either.
I
But
wonder
yeah,
if we
so
could build a, I wonder if we could build a relayer for Tellor.
possibly,
Owen's
yeah.
like, I don't want to do this.
It's just, I mean, yeah, it would be a lot. I mean, I just don't, we'd have to think through it and see if it was like a good idea even. Because like using these things, like it, you know, I've told you about it, and now if a bunch of people start to use it, I don't, you know, the benefit might start to go away. So it's just like, that's how these things go, sort of. I don't really, not really
Well,
sure.
yeah, I mean, that would be like, it's sort of like a prisoner's dilemma in a way. If we all use it, there's like no point to using it. And
Yeah,
we just
exactly.
wasted a bunch of work.
Yeah. So it's like basically now, like theoretically, someone who can will go use Mining DAO or this like Mint X relay, and they'll like, you know, be able to submit profitably for a while, maybe. But then like as soon as we have release like the official one that supports those things, then it's like, sorry, now it is a gas auction again.
Sure. Well, no, this is super cool. Thank you for putting this together. I guess, yeah, I mean, I'm super curious to see how it just plays out. You know, basically you should get to a point where there is no profit. You know, as soon as there is a profit, somebody will submit for even $1, and you get really efficient at doing that.
Yeah, or like you're saying at a negative profit, because people are like,
Yeah.
you know, you just
Well, I
want to
mean,
hold
it's,
TRB.
well, I mean, like we submit every night for, you know, we support the Ampleforth value right now. And we have to make sure that it's through right around 7:30 at night. So we submit it either way, whether there's a profit or a loss. So we're clearing out the time-based reward regardless. Like we don't even care if we make a profit. And that's, I think you'll start seeing some more people do that. And the more people that actually do that, the less time-based reward will actually be there for people competing for it. So there's like that downside as well. But yeah, it's super interesting. And we're actually working with Little Alpha. For some of you reporters, you can reach out. We're going to be uploading things to Polygon, and we're going to be start pushing some values at the end of next month to Polygon. And what we'll actually be doing is setting up service agreements. So like this was somebody else's idea. They want the price of, what does he want? He wants I think Matic USD and then like DAI USD updated every 5 minutes on Polygon. So he just wants to like stream you money. So you'll be one of the reporters that is, you're required to keep those prices updated, and you're streamed money until they're not. And so there will be different sort of setups like that.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
stay tuned for some of those. We'll probably be reaching out in the public channel for people to volunteer and get set up.
That would be super cool to get like a bunch of like the active community members like to be the ones
sure.
in those contracts. Yeah.
It seems like the Polygon projects want to set up all kinds of like
Experimental
custom configurations.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
uh,
sorry, go Tyler.
okay. Yeah, I think on Polygon, not only would it be more flexible, but I think it also opens like the opportunity to have like less competitive, more cooperative reporting agreements, which I think will really benefit like not only I think it will benefit most like small reporters in such a way that like mainnet Teller can't support. if it can't support it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a different game on Polygon. Like if it, it's everything's so cheap that you can experiment and play around with it and you're not paying $500 to deploy a contract. So
Yeah, the most
like if it doesn't
most
work,
expensive
just
part is the
scratch it
bridging.
and everybody move over.
Yeah,
Um,
most expensive part is the bridging, which could be like 50 times more expensive than everything else you do off the bat.
Well, we're working super alpha. We're working with a project who's going to do batch bridging. So right now we're
Yeah.
looking, we were experimenting with it last week. You should be able to bridge to Polygon for like $5 because it'll be more, the analogy is more like a ferry to where, now if you do an individual transfer over to Polygon, you actually have to send a transaction on mainnet Ethereum, which costs a whole bunch of money. But this one, you'll just like bundle a whole bunch of off-chain transactions. They'll put it into one big transaction and then you'll split the costs to go over. And
Yeah,
it can make it a lot cheaper. So it'll just be slower, but it'll be a cool idea. Like if you can like bridge your TRB over to Polygon for $5, that would make it way better.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I think so. Like, I guess for wrap up, like competing for time-based rewards, we've got like 71 reporters, and then like one time-based reward. So it's like a very tough competition on like off the bat. But I think like things to look forward to, like for sure there'll be more people tip, like as Tellor grows as an ecosystem, like more people will be tipping on mainnet. So provide like more opportunities to more places to compete, more rewards to compete for. And then further, like we have a lot of like attention lined up on Polygon. So I think it'll be really exciting to see how that like evolves. And I think like given the flexibility of like Tellor Flex, which is open source and on GitHub, feel free to look at it and do look at it. I think like it's the opportunities there to like provide more modular like opportunities for reporting will really like open the doors for the small fish that like have a hard time like competing with Flashbot's mega programmers.
Cool. So when can we expect the next Telly release?
Soon. I don't want to give an exact date.
Within the next week or within the next month?
Not next month, like week shorter than that, week probably.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So anybody have any questions or?
Oh, what's the timeline for Tellor Flex?
Tellor Flex will be up testing on Polygon next week. And then we'll be deploying the contracts the following week, so mid-January. And then we'll be sort of, obviously, like once you put it up, there's not like anybody using it right away, but it'll probably be early February that we'll get. So we have a few projects looking to switch over. It'll probably be early February that they switch over. So
Nice.
looking good. Nice. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Owen, awesome job. Super interesting stuff. You should make a tweet thread and then we can all like it and pass it around because this, even on like the reputation, I don't think a whole lot of people who even follow Flashbots know about that. So
Yeah, you're talking about like cutting edge crypto shit.
yeah, like you did,
So-
like somebody who's actually run Flashbots and submitted a transaction, like there's like people who know about Flashbots and then people who have submitted with Flashbots. It's like,
And I was gonna say, I think that it's great to work on this and open source it for reporters to use and try it. And even if people just have enough coding knowledge to like tweak it a little bit and use it, like giving people the tools is always better than just saying, oh, the big guys are gonna do it. We can try to decentralize it as much as possible by helping people out.
Yeah, on that note, anyone who's watching this later, continue to let us know improvements in the reporters and dev channel and any questions you have.
cool. See y'all later.